Hey, welcome to the Chuck and Al Show, the space where real life meets real conversation. I'm here with my friend and pastor, and together we're exploring the questions that don't always fit neatly in a Sunday sermon or in a soundbite. Every week, we dig into the stuff that we're all wrestling with: purpose, doubt, hope, relationships, and the chaos in a modern world, and what it actually looks like to live with meaning in a world that never slows down. No perfect answers, no pressure to pretend, just two friends thinking out loud and inviting you into the conversation. This is the Chuck and Al Show. Let's get into it. On today's episode.
You look a little tense. Are you tense? Has it been a tense day?
You've been waiting for this opportunity.
No, you just look tense, and I want to be a good friend.
Yes.
Are you a little tense today?
A little tense, a little overwhelmed.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
It's a podcast. We don't have to solve the world.
We won't solve the world.
I'm assuming that you've got news that has made you tense. That's okay. Let's don't go there.
Yep.
Can I share something that will make you feel better?
Sounds good.
You ready? Take a deep breath. Just relax. Two people came up to me this week. You know what they said?
What did they say?
Exact words of one. Oh, my God. Chuck and Al. My favorite.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Really?
oh, yeah. I mean, glowing ear to ear. Young
Yeah.
person at that. Not a young person like 4,
Yeah.
but, you
Like
know,
a young adult?
27, 28.
That's pretty great.
And then another one came up and said, Mark, Chuck and Al, I had no clue. I've been listening to 2 of them already. And it is my mind is blown.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Chuck.
Hey, thanks,
Appreciate
Chuck,
it.
for being a part of my podcast.
You're getting famous.
Well, Connor told me when I picked him up today that we
getting
already had
famous.
over 20-something views in the first 2 days. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's not bad. That's more
Of
friends
just-
than I have.
so I think here's my new idea.
Okay.
We'll just title everything The Rapture.
Yeah.
And then we'll put anything we want after that. That
Anything
seems to
dealing
get the
with
clicks.
anything impending doom will
Yeah.
probably get a lot more.
Makes
views.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But I don't want the podcast to all be about doom, because I think our world's pretty good at telling us the bad news.
Oh yeah.
So today,
good news, man. I just want to toss that to you.
that's awesome.
Just
Thank you.
let your soul
That's exciting.
suck that joy up, and
How are you today?
good, busy but good,
Yeah.
busy but good.
Yeah.
Had a conference this week, so that was good. It went well, and just alive and kicking.
yeah.
Got some great things going on. Speaking of good, in Ottawa, Dominican Republic.
Awesome.
Had a couple of hour conversation this morning around that. So that's alive and kicking.
Is this your California conference coming up this weekend?
Yes, this next weekend. So
Okay.
1 weekend away, fly to California for a conference, then come back, and we're having conversations steadily with architects and builders to build a new building here.
Wow.
So it's
That's
exciting
very
times.
exciting.
Yeah.
I was, we were pulling in the parking lot. I was like, man, look at all that land.
Yep.
Sitting
New
out there.
sanctuary coming.
That's awesome.
We're
It's a big
excited-
hole to fill, or build
excited
in,
about it.
or build in
Yep. It's exciting.
the hole. That's very exciting. That's great news.
Yeah. So if everybody's listening,
Yeah.
they can throw prayers out just for favor. You're a VP of a company,
Mhm.
so favor toward you because you got a lot going on your plate. And then here at the church, we got a lot going on plus mission. So just chunk prayers for that.
We appreciate any and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so last week we were talking about the rapture.
Mhm.
You gave us a really, really good.
Did you have time to process that?
Yeah.
And
When we started the podcast, I would say I wasn't pre-trib or post-trib, right? I think I said that at the beginning. I didn't have an opinion. I would say I'm now a pre-trib believer.
really,
Yeah, the logic tracks. Logic tracks. And I think we all want to be pre-trib believers. I think even post-trib believers want to be pre-trib believers. I mean, if you don't, I have a lot of questions as to why. Right?
here's my thing.
You just want to suffer for fun. I mean,
Okay, this is all opinion.
Yeah.
But I like my opinion on this.
FYI. This
FYI,
is
it's an
the
opinion. I think
chew
you
up the
say
meat
that
and
at the
spit
start
out
of the
the
show,
bones.
right? Like
everything
at the start
about
of the
this is
show.
an opinion.
It's just 2 guys chatting.
Yeah.
So here's a chat.
And we try to bring the Bible in when we can.
Okay, so here's a chat.
Okay.
I think there's something very narcissistic feeling about post-trib. Like, man,
Like you got to be good enough.
I can make it. I can get through it. I can be smart enough. I can be prepared enough. I can, like, we're going to go through all this hell, right? Well, I'm cool with that. Like, but it feels,
Here's my question to those people. Do you have kids?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Do you have kids?
That's what I'm
Because it scares the crap out
So
of me.
there's a lot, if you just read the book of Revelation and you have any thought that you might potentially make post-trib, that takes a lot of guts and a lot of self-love of yourself.
Little
that you're-
righteousness.
That you're going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one of my points. The second point is I think there is something the way the rapture has been taught in the past, the escapist mentality that makes really hardcore Christians run from that because
Like it can't be that easy. That was kind of my
Yes.
thought. Like, it's got to be harder, right? The eye of the needle.
Yeah, it feels better to be post-trib if you're a real dedicated Christian because it's like there's got to be some suffering here, some pain, some grit, right?
We got problems and we need
Yes.
to pay for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like persecution is wonderful, and that's where I draw the line that the wrath of God is not persecution. So there's a whole,
That was really
I
good.
think, a whole opinionated group of people that they don't want to escape because it feels more self-righteous to go through it. And they don't want to escape because they're really bold Christians and escaping would be running. So if you look at the rapture as an escape hatch, it is a very difficult belief to I would say, use the word sell to people. And I think that's why it's so divisive because the moment you say it, you get the argument, well, do you think we just escape? Look at this. Persecution's always been here. But when you lay it out that persecution and wrath are different, and the rapture doesn't mean escape. It means the end of a season of what's required.
Sure.
It's a little easier to at least lean in and go, would you be open to it?
And I've never really had this conversation to flesh it out, but just where my head goes listening to that is, do you actually believe in the power of the cross?
Mm-hmm.
Because first off, that is an escape.
Right.
Right? The escape hatch is, I believe in Jesus and I believe what he did on the cross, and so therefore I am forgiven, right? I mean, so you want to get to heaven and get punished too? Because, I mean, and I understand there's going to be a judgment day,
Sure.
right? And we can kind of talk about that at some point. Like, what is that? What does that mean? Are there different levels to heaven? There's a lot of theories out there with very little factual information. Is that fair? You would know better than I.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that's going to happen
that we don't know.
I think we want to know, and I think there's so much knowledge now. I've said this, I think, on our first episode. There's so much knowledge in the world now that you just have to pick a side.
Everybody's right. You can back it up.
You can back either or. You can back pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib. You can find enough information to fight. You just ultimately have to land on, I love what a friend of mine says. He says, I do know this about you. You just believe what you believe, and you feel pretty steady.
And you're not afraid to say it either.
And I'm not afraid to say it's an opinion, but I'm holding true to my opinion because it makes more logical sense based on the scriptures I've studied. So,
and that's what I think draws me in is the latter, which is that you're also not afraid to say it. Because I think there's a lot of people that believe strongly in things, that run bigger churches, that, but I can't say that on the stage, or I can't say that from the platform. And you're very clear, hey, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, literally your caption on the slides are opinion in parentheses, not, hey, believe this. This is theology. Right. But to think that you're going to outrun or outlive the wrath of God. So did everybody who died before you, did they just get lucky? Did they have an escape hatch because they just weren't born at that time? Right.
That's
and for all we know, it's not going to happen for another 100 years. No one really knows. I think that's, we can say we're getting closer and closer to the end, but I was thinking about that on the way here. The world talks about 2030, right? And the world's doom. Well, they talked about 2000. Not that I remember, but I'm sure there were other years in history where it felt imminent that the Lord was coming back, and then it didn't.
Okay, I will comment to that. Yes, I lived in 1988 through that. He was coming. He was coming in 2000.
What was happening in 1988?
A guy wrote a book. Yeah.
That was the guy who's predicted the date.
Yeah, predicting a date because 40 years from 48, that's a generation. 1948, Israel becomes a nation. 40-year generation from that's 1988. He sold thousands of books. He was wrong.
Great moneymaker.
Yeah, he rewrote the book the next year because
kind of like titling all your podcasts "The Rapture" from now on.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, he missed it. He missed it in 89, 2000, Y2K. Now Jesus is coming.
Can I comment on that? He actually wrote a second book too, didn't he? Yeah, he was like, let me try again.
Yeah, he said, I missed something, and so he had 89 reasons he's coming in 89. He didn't.
It's
Jesus,
awesome.
Right. 2000 Y2K, he didn't come. 2013 Mayan calendar did not come.
I remember that.
2016 when Trump won, we thought that's the end. He didn't come.
That's the Antichrist right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then 2020, 2018, 1920 is COVID. He's going to come, and we're at 2026. And here's what I think. I will totally agree with you that it's been speculation up to this point. I believe the Bible is written in such a way that every generation thinks they are it,
Sure.
right?
Well, and I think that's part of the point.
It's part of the point. Every generation he could come now.
The people who were with Jesus thought, hey, this is coming
he'll
like
be here next
tomorrow,
week.
right? Yeah.
So it's set up. The reason Jesus said only the Father knows is the gospel is set up to keep you in a mode of there's work to be done.
Yeah.
You know, but I will say this, just what I've been studying over the last month, this is different because 2030 is different because in 2020,
being the rise of information.
Yes.
Yeah.
2020 was different. 2000 was different. 88. The thing that's different now is for the first time in human history, artificial intelligence is at a place where 2030 will be a shift of how life is done. We will not do life like I had that conversation with Robin last night on a date night. Life as we know it
will be different.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when I say different, it's not telephone in hand gets better or a computer gets faster. That's what most people, I say this. I think a lot of people think AI is just a faster computer. That's all it is. But where it's headed, if you really deep dive it, and by deep dive, I mean the people
Listen to the people who are
creating it.
Yes.
Yes,
which is different than use this tool at work. It's going to be great, which it is. I'm using it.
I use it.
I think it's awesome.
So,
but the people creating it respect it differently than a tool.
Yeah. And so I believe 2030 is a different type shift. So when you say the agenda is 2030, and it is, you can go to the World Economic Forum and they have Agenda 2030.
They've been talking about it for a long time.
Long time. Well, it was 2020 until Trump won, and that set them back. They even said that. It set us back a decade. And if he won again, which he did in 2026, they said it could potentially set him back 2 to 3 decades. But they've been working, AI's been working overtime, and now we have here's what's interesting, why I say this. And again, another lunch conversation. You should come sometime because they're really fun lunch conversations.
Did you start that?
No, but I just have lunch with fellas and we just talk about anything.
And
it's really fun. But
we should have them in for the podcast.
Yeah. But one of the conversations I had
we'll call it lunchtime.
Again, it kind of segued off of last week's podcast about what Jesus starts, he stops. He's a beginning, he's an ending. He's a first and a last, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, think about this. Because you hear a lot of people, well, we've always had persecution, we've always had evil, right?
Yeah.
It's always there. As it was in the days of Noah, you hear all of that. However, something's happening that is critical. I think I'm going to teach this Sunday. So wing and a prayer meeting. Yeah. So
this is the follow-up message for Monday morning for those of you listening.
God help us. So, and who knows what I'll say Sunday because I'm working it out on a Wednesday. It's going to air on a Monday, and I'm probably going to teach it on Sunday. So I'm kind of throwing it out there now as I'm trying to get my thoughts together. But I believe that what this generation is seeing is different than anything else we've ever seen, ever.
Truth's being exposed left and right.
Okay, yes.
Evil.
Yes, true and all of that. But for this reason.
Okay.
You remember last podcast, I said, if you really want to try to understand in a different way, look at the hand of God when the hand of God moves in such a way that it shifts things, right? So we go to hand of God moving, let us make man in our image. And there was a cataclysmic change because now we have humans in the image of God.
Yeah.
Then we move into the hand of God. I could probably run several of them, but I'll be quick. The hand of God after they sin. God throws an angel down and says, you're not going back here.
Yep.
So he just puts a
line in the sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we've got Noah, line in the sand. Love y'all. I repent. I made you. I'm taking you out. Then here's why I think if this generation can clue into what's going on, I think we're so diverging into social media, so connected to the screen that we miss what's happening under our nose because what's happening is Genesis 11 is happening under our nose, and this is what I mean.
Can we read that?
Sure.
Since we're going to use some Bible to say, hey, it's not all.
Yep. So let me pull it up. Genesis 11, a very familiar passage if you're a Christian because it's the story of the Tower of Babel. Listen to what Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. At one time, verse 1, all the people of the world spoke the same language and used the same words.
Wow.
Okay?
It kind of feels like where we're heading.
Hang on, watch this. And it goes to say, as the people migrated east, they found a plain in the land of Babylonia. They settled there, and they began saying to each other, let's make bricks and harden them with fire, because in this region, bricks were used instead of stone, and tar was used for mortar. They said, come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. Hold that thought, too. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world. But the Lord came down, looked at the city, verse 5, and the tower the people were building, and said, look, verse 6, profound. These people are united, and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. For the first time in human history, in my biblical opinion, from Genesis 11, when God scattered the nations to the world,
Mixed up their language.
mixed up their language, their understandings, their talents and skills, spread them all over, and the nations began to form.
But that's another key piece there. Mixed up their talents and skills. It did.
Yes.
You didn't send all the construction workers over to Africa and all of the biblical philosophers over to China.
Yeah.
Everyone got mixed up.
And here's how he mixed them up. He mixed them up by languages, because God knows to speak different languages, you cannot create the impossible.
All the evolution people are just ripping their hair out right now.
Okay. So, well, I think everybody would agree. Well, I say this like I'm an expert on it, but I'm going back through things I've read and seen in the past. I would think most people would believe that something critical shifts when language develops.
Yeah.
Now, that can be among species or humans. There's something very strangely weird, I would say divine, about language. A dolphin communicates with a dolphin, right? They understand each other.
Right.
So God take this thing about language is critical, because a common language, if we can work unified, I can do impossible things.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take this to its.
Because you have skills and I have skills. And if we can talk about, hey, I can do this and you can do that.
Okay. So watch. So let's say all the Germans go, everybody's got that language. We've got Japanese language. We've got all the Asian languages. We've got the European languages, whatever, Yugoslavian, Russian, Ukrainian, whatever. Everybody now is in a nation.
Yeah.
And every nation now has borders with their language to protect their culture, to protect their knowledge, to protect their politics and their people.
Do you think that's what Africa lacks?
I don't know. That's a whole other conversation.
Because they've got a bunch of different languages around
whole
their
other
country.
conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Derail. Sorry.
No, you're good.
ADD.
Nope. And because that's a great conversation. But so take those thoughts that everybody now has languages. Those languages create borders. Those borders create security of people, culture, and knowledge, right? Within ourselves. That's why we can say, hey, this is the Persian Empire. They took over. The Babylonian Empire, they took over. The Roman Empire. Well, the Roman Empire was their language, their culture, their systems, their politics, and their Caesars, right? And so they take over. Now, when God did that purposefully, because if everybody comes together, we have the potential to do the impossible. And when humans can do the impossible, we're now God.
You don't need them.
Correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So
if God is the only one who can do the impossible, we can't.
True. So now
but he says we can.
Right. Even God said humans can.
You can.
God said
if you could all work together.
If you can all come into unity
crazy?
And speak the same language. Those two words, language and unity.
Which again just points back to we are his image. We just don't have all the components.
True.
So crazy.
Language and unity are the two things we have to have global world domination of impossibility. Okay. So let's take, without sounding narcissistic, English. English is pretty much within most of the
you can kind of get by
first world. You can wing English, right? Even in another country, they learn English because it's kind of a global common language that you will find in metropolitan, maybe not in the bush, but within reason, English. Well, what that did is it kind of pulled us together to be able to go into France and order a hamburger using English, and we can speak.
I did that in Spain.
But in 1980s, when the internet came along, two things start happening. Now, I have people all over the world. Remember what God did. He said, I'm going to change the language and change the unity. If I can change language and unity, these people can't accomplish.
You'll always be divided.
Always.
Yeah.
And remind me to talk about the church in a minute, because I don't want to segue to that. But so
we'll come back to that.
So language and unity. In 1988, if the devil knows this, and I believe there is one, I believe there's a being that runs the dark side. So Satan, Lucifer, devil, red dragon, what he's called in the Bible. If he knows this to be true, that God heard God say in the heavenlies,
Which he listens.
Yes, come, let's go shake their language, because with unity in the same language, nothing will be impossible. I think the devil marks this. Well, what does the devil have to do? He's got to undo everything God did. So God scattered them all. Well, how do you, if you're not an omnipotent, all-knowing being, you're just an angel, an angelic being. Now I have to begin to work in all of these countries, all of these nations. I have to work a plan, right? God's got his nation. It's Hebrews, the Jewish nation, and Lucifer's working his plan. So now in 1980 plus, we get what's called the World Wide Web. I remember the first time I logged on, had no clue what it was. I'm like, what is www? Yeah, what is www? What do you mean I'm only on AOL? I've got to go to the World Wide Web. I had no clue what it meant. But it was really
the first connection piece
to the world.
To the world.
Yeah. Which really was just in my language cool. That's really cool. I don't speak computer, but this is cool. Now fast forward to, and this is what, if you're listening and you're in your 30s or 40s, I would highly suggest that you at least think that what's about to happen in the next 6 years is going to be no different than going back to the 1800s and trying to explain to someone in the 1800s that they're going to be holding a screen in their hand that will be able to connect them instantaneously to any human in the world that also has a screen. They wouldn't even know how to process that.
No
what do you
idea.
mean a screen? What do you mean in my hand? What do you mean?
What's a picture?
Yes. Yeah. So really, if we, depending on how far back we go,
yeah.
So now what is happening? We connected the world via knowledge, but what don't we have now?
Language.
Language and unity.
Yep. We've
connected
divided.
you.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring everybody back to the Babel, the Tower of Babel. I brought everybody back by sending out from, I think this is why, it's an opinion, this is why Revelation says that Mystery Babylon. I believe it's Mystery Babylon because it's not all the people coming back to the Tower of Babel. It's the Tower of Babel spirit going to get everybody.
Outward.
So it's still Babylon, meaning I've connected all humans to this Mystery Babylon, although they're all over the world. And I did that. Yeah, I'm not saying the internet's the devil, but I am saying there's bigger things going on than just that. And he's now connected all the nations.
A tool of the world.
Oh, anybody.
That's a fair
yes,
statement.
Of anybody.
Right?
So now everybody's connected.
Yeah.
Now what do I need? I need unity in language. Well, it's very difficult to get unity. We all are still living our nationalistic pride and, make America great again. It's all pride, our own nation, our own nation, take care of Ukraine. No, it's Russia. No, it's our borders.
Competing with the one world order, the world globalists.
We'll never have that until we speak a language and a unity. So don't even worry about global antichrist until you have, the moment you have, this is opinion, the moment you have common language of everybody in the world and you have unity of everybody in the world, I believe at that point the devil can launch his plan, which is the revelation of the Antichrist, the beast system, and now we're in Revelation. So here's where we are, probably by 2030, if not sooner, they said. They were saying by the end of this year, but overwhelmingly 2030, but more likely by the end of the year, 2026. Here's what we'll have. We will have, for the first time in human history, we will have global connection via the internet.
Yep.
So not everybody coming to Babylon, but Mystery Babylon connecting everybody. We will have a common language. The common language will be artificial intelligence. That's our common language. And we will have unity because we will all be bought in what we will use the movie term, the Matrix. We will all be bought into the artificial intelligence because accordingly to what the people developing have said, by 2030, the entire world will primarily be ran by artificial intelligence. It will hold 99% of all knowledge. Humans will possess about 1%, and then they start getting into the singularity to where it begins to learn on itself and move within itself, and it's already doing that some. That's what concerns them a little bit. Like, wait a minute, this is doing things that it shouldn't be doing in artificial intelligence. So to say that it's always been this, it's always been persecution, everybody feels like it's the end is true, but now it's a shift. It's the same kind of shift when Noah comes out and there's only 8 humans. It's the same kind of shift in Daniel when God draws a line and says, "Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin," and then that night he's done. Like God just line in the sand. So I think what is happening is how you remember the line in the sand was to spread the nations in Genesis 11 because nothing is possible. And I think the devil kind of like middle finger to God.
If nothing's impossible.
I'm about to flip the script on you because here's why. Because does the devil know God is true or not?
He does.
He does. So when God said, if humans are united with a language, nothing is impossible, then guess what?
I got to figure this out.
Humans that are united in language, nothing is impossible because it's been declared by God.
So I can be as powerful as God. Which is the mission.
Based on his own.
By his own word. And if he said it, it's true. So now I just have to figure this out.
So now Lucifer the liar can go to God.
Which unlocks the wrath of God to say, okay, I'm done.
Yes, because Lucifer can go back to God and say, you have to honor what you spoke.
You said it's true.
You said a common language with unity, nothing impossible. I now possess that.
Yep.
So I'm going to go before God as Lucifer and go, I now possess a common language, a common unity, and nothing's going to be impossible. Now, take that and wrap it into AI, and it makes sense that AI is a spiritual global kingdom shift
of language
and unity. And everybody's in agreement that it's going to be bigger than humans. It's going to have more power than humans. It's going to have singularity.
If you're not,
it's going to be,
you just don't want to believe
it's going to be automated generative information. So far beyond what we're putting in, it begins to create within itself. And now Elon Musk, remember I said the Tower of Babel is reaching, the tower that reaches into heaven. This is so cool. I was listening to him yesterday.
I just want to say, I love that as you're describing how we get to the end, you're like, this is so cool.
Yeah, right. It is.
I remember we were playing golf. I'm just going to derail for one second. We're playing golf, and this Muslim guy had just come out all over social media, basically declaring himself Jesus' brother, the Antichrist. And your statement was, I can't wait to see where I go to give. I can't wait to fund this guy and help his mission grow.
Right.
And so your statement of this is so cool is that same spirit of like, I'm watching this play out exactly how I'm supposed to.
Yeah. I think the first time I ever taught the book of Revelation was in the mid 1990s.
Most people don't read Revelation and go, this is so cool.
And I look back and I go, my God, it's so different now. It's making, the further we go, the more Revelation makes sense. So you remember Genesis 11 says they were common language, unity, nothing impossible. Let's build a tower. Let's go to heaven.
To the heaven. Yep.
And if we get that, nothing's impossible.
Here
you ready
comes
for
Elon
this?
with his rockets.
Oh, it's incredible. Wait. This is a 3-hour podcast with him that I was listening to yesterday. It's fresh out, so it's brand new.
We've never been to the moon. Opinion.
Yeah. So it gets really good. He said that AI and the power, the whole first 45 minutes was on energy.
Okay.
It was on the consumption of energy, and Elon is all about the sun. The best place we have for energy, it's free, it's the sun. We just don't know how to harvest it, and we don't know how to, really harvest the energy of the sun to utilize it. As a matter of fact, we're using at maximum, I think he said 0.1% of energy is all we can harness right now.
Wow.
And then he talked about using the desert with solar panels, and the reasoning is that all of these AI machines require so much energy.
Yep.
Like we're talking 10 gigawatts. So
nuclear power is a big conversation right now to provide the energy needed.
He's already said at his facility he was using 1 gigawatt. So they're looking at these AI facilities of needing 10 gigawatts, and that's about 10 nuclear power plants within our reasoning, just to run a facility.
Yeah.
All right. So, and the heat it generates plus the water that it needs. So now you need
insane amount of resource
and red tape.
Yeah.
Because you've got to get it approved by the state, the federal government, all the locals who do not want this in their yard. And
our federal government is moving quickly to approve said things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're doing it, right?
Yeah.
But here's what he
Trump
said.
Maybe didn't set them back.
Oh, no. You ready? Now, just this, again, this is speculative, but it just excites me of what's happening. Again, Tower of Babel, reaching to heaven, common language, unity, nothing impossible. Here we are in 2026. We now have a common language. It's artificial intelligence. We now have unity of the world, which will be artificial intelligence. Everybody's going to have to lean into it or get left behind. So that's the way it's going to have to go down. Every business, literally, they're saying if you don't lean into it,
you're done.
You're done. You're going to have to.
Yep.
It's going to be every business, everything that you need, even in your family. They're already talking now by 2030, you will not even use a phone, because here's what they said. They're going to use nanobots that they can put, they're so small, they can put it in a capillary or inside the brain. No big deal. But that will begin to communicate with each other, and we won't even need a phone. Oh, God. I watched a video of two guys have already come out with the technology. They're sitting with headphones on.
Having a conversation without saying a word.
Never saying a word.
Wow.
But the AI that is inside the nodes that are picking up the energy and picking up the electrical impulses of the throat and the mouth and the wording can take that and translate it into a language that can go from my Bluetooth to your Bluetooth. And they were talking about how it's going to revolutionize air travel, which is crazy. You will be able to sit there and have a full conversation and never open your mouth
on a plane,
just by having thoughts. And that's already
we're going to be able to read each other's minds.
Yes. That's all. That was the title of the video.
Marvel was onto something.
It was telepathic communication via AI. All right. So they're already there. Here's what's so interesting.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So we just talked about, you don't go along with this, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, Mark Evans, get the chip or whatever that piece is?
I'll answer that in a second.
Okay.
Let me throw this, and I will answer it because I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So Elon says because of the cost to build these facilities on planet Earth, the energy that it takes, the amount of space to pull the energy, the water that it takes to keep them cool, he said, this is so crazy. This is how brilliant this guy is. He said, I've already petitioned the United States to get, I don't say a patent, but permission to be able to put AI into outer space.
So it can be cooled?
Low Earth orbit. Okay. That's where he's headed.
Okay.
He's going to use his rockets.
Less heat.
He's going to use his rockets to put AI into low Earth orbit, because he can generate heat from the sun in low Earth orbit without worrying about clouds or anything.
So he gets energy from the sun.
And free.
Okay.
He doesn't have to pay anybody.
And there doesn't have to cool these units.
Doesn't have to cool them because it's
cold up there.
Sub-zeros.
So they tell us.
In the low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in low Earth orbit. He's going to launch this. It's almost just like out of Terminator. Like there's this
mega ship.
Like I think if you listen to the guy 20 years ago, like he's smoking something. Dude, the dude is doing it. He has already got the permission to begin to. It's just so weird.
The point you should stop believing him is when he launches the rockets in the air and then catches them coming down to reuse them. That's the point you should probably say, I should probably take this guy seriously.
And here's the funny thing. Most people are thinking we just need land somewhere in Georgia to put AI. Elon is so ahead of the game. He's like, I'm going to put my AI up in outer space. I won't have to pay anybody. There's no water issues, no sun, no solar issues, no land issues, no disturbance of humans. And it can all be run by robots. So in that, this is all speculation, which I hate. I don't think you should build any kind of doctrine off of it. But go back to Genesis 11. Unified language, unified together in unity, building a tower to heaven. And now we have people going, AI is the new language of unified unity of the entire world. And I'm going to put AI up into outer space. And it's so smart, it will be like God. I think we're right back there, and that's why I think this generation is different than any other generation that has ever lived. Now, what did God do in Genesis 11? He drew a line in the sand and said, you humans have gone as far as you can go. Here's what I think. According to the book of Job, it's not far-fetched that the devil will go have a conversation with God.
We saw that.
Right?
Clear as day.
He can go up and conversate, and he's like, what are you doing up here in the council of the gods? Why are you here? Psalm 82, you don't need to be here. You've been expelled. So we do know that.
They talk.
Yes, they do. Well, of course they do. Yeah. Matthew 4, that Lucifer's talking to Jesus. So, of course they do. So do you not think it's interesting that the Bible in Revelation 12 calls Lucifer the accuser of the brothers, who accuses them before God day and night? That means that Lucifer, day and night, is somehow appearing before God to accuse God of his own creation.
Look at what they're doing.
But it doesn't work. because it says, but they overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of the testimony.
Yeah.
So what is a brilliant being that's ever been created by God? Lucifer. He was the top created being ever created, full of wisdom, according to Isaiah, full of beauty. So top tier.
Yep.
And then human. So top tier created before human. What do you think that guy does? Cowers down and quits? No, I think he goes back to God and says, checkmate, because I'm going to use your word. He tried it with Jesus, the scriptures, right? I'm going to use your creation.
Yep.
I'm going to use your word, and I'm going to use what you said, and I'm going to hold you to it because you know you cannot lie. You've even said you cannot lie. I am going to deceive the nations. This is Revelation 21 and 20. I'm going to deceive the nations.
Which we're seeing play
I'm going
out.
to pull them to myself.
Yep.
I'm going to unify the nations you have scattered. I'm going to give the nations a common language that you scattered. And I'm going to trump you, because the moment I take the nations you scattered and unify them, the moment I give them a new language, the moment they all work for a common goal, which is what they were saying last night in this podcast, everybody's racing toward AI now.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first? You have Gemini now, ChatGPT, Grok. You've
Big
got
competition.
big competition out
Yeah.
there, right?
Which just makes it grow faster. If one guy's doing it alone,
But what is the competition? The competition now is all about AI.
Yeah.
It's not a
To be
competition.
the superpower
Yes,
of AI.
yes.
Yeah.
It's not, can I make a hamburger versus chicken nuggets? It's all AI.
Right.
I think that Lucifer is stood before God and said, I have you, and now that I have you, I'm going to declare myself God. I have your creation. I have the nations on my side. I have their language, and I've unified them, and now you know nothing's going to be impossible. And now that I own them, and according to your own word, nothing will be impossible, I am going to declare myself as God. And in that moment, we step into what we would call the book of Revelation, where God
Here comes
draws.
Armageddon.
Now answer this. You answer this one. Why would God draw a line in the sand again if Satan has all the humans, unified language, in a unity of life, working toward a common goal? Nothing is impossible. Do you think the church is going to fix that?
No.
No. You want me to tell you why?
Well, one, we're not unified, but
True.
But no.
So what did God do? Now watch this. This just show you. I'm trying not to sound, because sometimes I sound like I'm
So are
psychotic.
we going back to the church?
We will.
Okay.
All right.
So we're not there yet.
No.
I need to keep that in my memory to remind you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just go there. I'll go ahead and go there. So take unified language.
Okay.
And nothing impossible. God splits the nations. On the day of Pentecost, what does God do? The Bible says that people from every nation were in Jerusalem on the day of Pentecost.
Yep.
On the day of Pentecost, God gave every nation a common language, the baptism of the Spirit. Then God sent all of those people back into the world with a common language, so that
So he's already done it.
So if I'm in Russia, I can speak by the Spirit. If I'm in Germany, I can speak by the Spirit.
Wow.
That's why on the day of Pentecost, when they spoke languages they did not know, it was God saying, I'm going back to the Tower of Babel, and
I'm giving you a language.
and I'm going to give you my language,
Yeah.
and you're going to be a nation of my priest. Now, if a nation can unify itself in a common language, so the unity is Christ, the common language is the Spirit, there should be nothing impossible for the church.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So we should be able to go and heal the sick and raise the dead and do whatever he bids
And
us
I've
to
always
do.
believed that we have more power than we think we do.
True, but I'm Lucifer, so what do? Before I build my Tower of Babel, I have to destroy because God did the Tower of Babel, then undid the Tower of Babel at the day of Pentecost for his own nation. So now Lucifer has all these other nations with disunity and not a common language, and they're all fighting, and God's like, trump you. I just gave a common language with humans, and nothing's going to be impossible, and they're going to destroy your kingdom. So Lucifer comes in and goes, all right, this is fun. So let's see. All right, I think I'm going to trump you, because what I'm going to do is, you said a common language with unity, nothing's impossible. I can't take the power of the Spirit back. I can only disunify them. So what does he do? Acts 6, we're not even 3 in yet. Acts 6, they're already arguing. What about the widows? Who's going to get fed? Now, by the time we get to our generation in 2026, we're so disjointed There's probably 100+ churches just in our region alone here. We can't even get along.
Within 50 square miles.
On the most simplistic things,
Yeah.
we can't get along. So so the body of Christ is disunified.
Yeah.
And we no longer speak a common language, because if you want to upset any group of Christians, talk about Jesus, we're pretty good. Talk about heaven, hell, we're pretty good. Talk about Bibles, just be careful of versions, we're pretty good. But the
Here
moment you
comes
say
the
the word, the
Holy
Holy
Spirit.
Spirit, it's done, it's over, it's quit. Language,
for them,
tongues,
not
it's
for
for them,
now.
not now. It's demonic, it's
Yep.
evil. Gifts have gone. There's no gifts today. They passed away. So the devil was brilliant.
It's a hot button.
So the devil is brilliant. He took again what God did
Yeah.
and distorted. So now that the church has lost its power because we're not unified, even in local churches, local congregations are disunified because many speak by the flesh, by logic, and by reason, not by the Spirit. And many people don't understand when God says, I hate dissension, he literally means I hate dissension. When you come into a church and split it, God says, I hate that. Why? Because you've stopped the possibility of the church. So now we have both of those. So now watch what Lucifer does. I screwed you over, God. I took your kids.
We're back to his power trip to God.
Yes.
Look at what I did.
Lucifer's on a power trip. He wants to be God.
Yeah.
He doesn't want your marriage. He doesn't
Since
want
the beginning.
He doesn't want your children.
Yeah.
He wants to be God. This is between him and God, and
we're just pawns.
we're
on the
pawns
table.
in the game.
Yeah.
In Lucifer's game.
Yeah.
In God's game, we're his creation.
Right.
Lucifer's just using
Thanks
us.
for clarifying
Yeah,
that.
he's just using us to get whatever he needs. So now he goes back to God and says, look, you made a promise, unity, language, nothing impossible. You scattered them. I've brought them all back. I screwed your plan over because your own kids aren't unified, and I've robbed them of their language. They speak flesh now. They speak self. They speak self-help. They speak victimhood. They speak triggered. They speak therapy. They speak everything but the language of the Spirit. Trump you. Your kids are weak. They're nothing. And I've taken my kids, and I've even had them declare that my kids are smarter than yours. Because what I've done now is I've unified every nation in a common language called AI. I've unified across every border. There are no borders now. AI is borderless. And I have your humans that you created already stating that my creation is smarter than yours.
Now honor your word.
Honor your word and look me in the eye and tell me nothing's impossible. And the moment God says nothing is impossible, Lucifer says, then I declare myself God.
And now war starts.
And at that moment, I think God draws a line in the sand, and it says, and I looked, and a white horse was coming, and a red horse was coming, and bowls and trumpets and seals.
Because why else are we having war?
Yeah, God's just going to put an end to it because God has to stop.
I'm saying
what Lucifer
without him claiming he's God, why else are we having a war?
Right. True.
I'm still God, so
right.
I just trump you.
And the whole book of Revelation is not that God just hates sin; it's that God is letting you know Lucifer is not God.
It's over.
It's
his
over.
game's over. His reign is over. I'm taking back my creation, and I've got to start over.
And then what we need to do is yak next time about.
Doesn't this make you think how, I guess just where my head's at as we're having this conversation? Because I don't, this is the point of the podcast. These conversations don't happen regularly, right? It really makes me realize how the things I'm worried about are so meaningless.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're listening to this, whether you really believe it's all true, I would just say there's no denying that artificial intelligence is about to propel your generation into something you've never, ever thought possible, and you need to get busy about God's kingdom. And if you're bitter at somebody, angry, split a church, left a church, mad at a church, don't go to church, you need to get your act together because you're part of the issue of why the church is so weak.
And also, whatever you're mad about, whatever you want to fight, whatever,
Pales in comparison.
it just so doesn't matter.
Stupid.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
I mean, like we're just this little piece of. I'm so mad about this.
Do you know, in 36 years of pastoring, I never had anybody leave my church angry over Jesus being God or resurrecting for us.
It's over something another person did to another person.
Always. I've never had anybody tell me I'm leaving because I disagree about you said Jesus isn't God.
And I just can't help but think God sitting there thinking,
I'm leaving because you're too
You think
funny.
you're
I'm
so
leaving because I
important.
don't like your personality.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I say there's plenty of churches to plug. It's not the issue of leaving somewhere. It's the issue that we create chaos and
When we
disunity.
leave. Yeah.
And then we start speaking another language, which is gossip, which is another one God says I hate.
Yeah.
I hate brothers sowing discord among brothers.
And I just
speaking
feel like God's sitting there
falsehoods.
thinking, oh, you think you're so important, don't you?
Right.
There's this whole other game being played we can't even see, that who cares about what happens in Russia and Ukraine?
Right.
Who cares about what happens in China? Who cares about none of that really matters when this all comes to a head. And I guess maybe that gives me some more context for be anxious about nothing.
I would say
None of this matters.
mark this podcast in your wheelhouse of an email or something and store it. And I would say go back and listen to it in 2030.
See what's happening. Yeah.
See how
Hopefully we're
much
still doing the podcast.
how much the world has changed.
Maybe that's a long time.
And I can't even explain what I mean by the word change, because change just means something got better, something got faster, something got easier, more simplistic. It's not even that.
Business consultants are saying now
It is a
hey,
total shift.
you can't plan outside of 1 year.
No,
We
it is-
don't know what the world would look like a year from now.
It is a total shift.
So if you're sitting here saying I got a 3-year plan,
No.
good luck.
What we know today, it's you won't even be able to fathom in a mental state. As my dad said, I asked him, he's 90.
Yeah.
I said, Dad, if I would have come to you in 1936 and said, one day there's going to be a phone in your hand that you could talk to anybody in the world at any given time with no delay, see them perfectly, instantly. He said, my brain could not even wrap around that. I said, really? And this was his words. He said, I remember the first time I saw a TV and I thought to myself, how do they do this? Now, that age from my father within a revolution, right? Like from the 1900 to present, like what has changed in our culture from 1900 to the year 2000 in 100 years, astronomical.
Yeah.
My dad said what has happened in the last 5 years, I couldn't even fathom how fast information. Well, now we're at a place where they're already saying with artificial intelligence, you won't even recognize Mother Earth and how we live. We will have to live totally different.
Which is hard to wrap my head around. I'm a big dreamer. I dream very big. I have big dreams for what I want my life to look like, right? We talk about that often offline. There's a part of me that says, man, are those dreams bad to still have, or are they just misplaced?
I don't think either. I think I'm going to say anybody that's not putting the kingdom first is misplaced.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that you sit in your closet praying. But Jesus himself said, if you'll just seek my kingdom, the kingdom is here, the kingdom is near, repent, the kingdom, the kingdom, the kingdom, the kingdom, the kingdom. 90% of Jesus's message is not just be good to each other. It's like, I came to bring a kingdom.
Yeah.
We'll maybe next podcast, because it's a little longer, we could talk about the millennial kingdom, because it's about kingdom.
Yeah.
So is it misplaced? No, I think misplaced is I have a job. I work my job. I'm a hard worker. I'm faithful. I show up on time. I earn money. I buy my hobbies, my houses, and my fun, and I take care of my children and go on vacation. Great. I don't think that's the issue. The issue in all of that is you've misplaced the kingdom. And now it's just about you, your house, your retirement, your children, your family.
The world revolves around you.
Yeah. And you even use God for that. God, I need a new
I'm
car.
probably
Can
guilty
you
of
help
that.
me with this job?
Yeah.
Can you open this door for me? Can you fix this problem for me? So that God exists for my pleasure, which is why Lucifer's plan is going to work. Because Lucifer is going to appeal to the human pleasures to be able to.
I'll give you what you want.
I'll give you exactly what you want.
Anything you need.
And it's right there. That's what they're saying about artificial intelligence. It's all right there now. I heard him say this 2 days ago. They said, this is so mind-blowing. They said that every bit of information in the world has now been captured by artificial intelligence. There is no more. There is no more information, no more knowledge that artificial intelligence doesn't have and has already garnered, and potentially within itself can begin to become generative and begin to create more knowledge
than we even
within itself. Right.
Okay.
So you ask a question about the mark.
Yeah, we let's end there for this episode.
Okay.
So you talked about this nano tech that could be in your arm, in your head, whatever, that we're just gonna sit here, stare at each other blankly without talking, and have a conversation. Do you get that?
I don't think, again,
Is that
no, I don't think it's the mark of the beast. According to what I've read and what I believe,
because a lot of people thought the COVID vaccine
a
was
lot
mark
of
the
people,
beast,
you have to be
right? I
old. A
mean,
lot of people thought the credit card was.
well, and now the
So,
chip card that you
right,
tap to pay, and it's you can kind of see how you quickly get there. Where
yes,
if you put a chip in my hand, which they're doing in Europe,
right.
now I buy
Yeah.
food with this.
I would much prefer to have a phone in my head than in my hand, where I don't have to go, where'd my phone go? I could just wave my hand and pay for the bill, right? Like, that doesn't scare me. That's like technology at its finest.
Okay.
But I think it's no different than Proverbs saying this.
So
Alcohol,
but does that
alcohol.
integrate AI into your body? Which means, are you integrating?
Transhumanism is totally different than I have a chip that can help me see better. A blind person can now see. A mute person can now speak, which is strange. That
That sounds it
that
feels a little bit like,
Lucifer-
oh, I can heal you, right?
well,
Like,
that's what Lucifer's God. So what I've
but
created
that's
now.
I guess that's my point. That kind of feels markish because like I
It
can create
is.
all this stuff.
Okay, but there's one thing that makes it different.
Okay.
So imagine Lucifer again going to God, going, "You healed the blind, so did I."
Yep.
Now AI, I can use a chip, Neuralink, and Elon said yesterday that they're at a place now where they can create vision, and they're working on. It's kind of,
So it can talk to the brain to say, hey, this is what you're seeing.
well, that's all an eyeball is, right? So,
Wow.
and they're talking about healing. So I can heal the deaf, the mute can now speak. I can heal the mute, the quadriplegic can now walk. So anything Jesus did in the Gospels, artificial intelligence can now do, and nobody considers it, wow, a miracle, because this is technology. Like, wow, technology is advanced. They're even saying now that artificial intelligence will be able to create neural links from the brain through the spine to cause paraplegic, quadriplegics to walk, blind to see, deaf to hear, the mute to speak, and welcome. So Lucifer, imagine if we're back in that world, the spirit world going, gotcha. I told you I'm the Messiah, not you. I'm God. I'm healing everybody down there that's ticked at you that you're not healing. I now heal them all. Trust me, everybody's leaning into AI. This is incredible. The difference is between, is it the mark of the beast or just technology?
Sure.
Is one thing and one thing only, the word worship. The mark of the beast is a conscious choice to worship the beast. It's a choice. It's not a, uh-oh, I got something in my head and, oh God, that was the devil. No, it is a conscious, because the Bible says you're forced to worship him. And if you don't, I kill you. So the mark of the beast isn't, did I get a chip in my head?
Did it blow up and kill me because I didn't worship it?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't worship the system of AI, if it's truly to ever to that level.
And it will know.
Oh, absolutely, it will know. It will know just by thought alone. So you may say, well, I would, and I heard somebody say this, well, just trick them. Just say yes when you mean no. Like, do you receive me as God? And we go, yes, but I'm thinking no. AI will be so integrated within the realm of thinking that it will know you're thinking no and know you're lying, and it'll kill you.
Whoa.
Or they will kill you.
Sure.
And I think it's interesting. I do
think that's a
believe
reality?
they say beheaded, and I think that's because, this is just an opinion, I think because the wave of the future will be everything technologically that's now in a phone will be easily somehow put within our body, and we'll just walk around with it. No big deal.
With a bomb in our head waiting to go off.
If you look at it that way, or you can look at it, technology's advanced so far. They did say that in the next 6 years, definitely the next 10, and one of them said even sooner. So sooner being 2 to 3 years. This is crazy. I say 10 because I was thinking I'll be 70. They said within the next 10 years for sure, we will be able to extend human life at least double. So you'll be, how old will you be in 10 years?
38.
So we'll just give you 40 for math.
We'll call 40.
So 40, you would normally live to be 80. They said in the next 10 years, Keaton living to be 160 will be nothing. Because what we're learning to do, you ready? This is so profound. They said that now we understand.
If the world lasts that long, we'll just throw
I'm
that
just
caveat.
saying that
Yeah,
everybody listening needs to understand we're moving into a place of a God and a God. This isn't about human technology.
This isn't about country versus country.
This is Lucifer doing everything God can do. I can heal, I can deliver, I can counsel, I can set free, I can bring wisdom, I'm all knowledge, I'm all knowing, I've unified the nations, I've unified the language, I am God. That's all he's wanted to be the whole time. He's there now. They were making the statement about AI being integrated, and this is what they said. They said, the human, me and you, I'm going to try to get the best words I can. We're nothing but a biometric computer.
Yeah.
We're
energy.
We're energy. We're a computer, but we're biometrical. We're biology.
Yep.
So we're not, but neurons, electrons, everything firing.
Yep.
And they said, really? Really? This is the question. And I was like, God, these people are so smart. They asked this question. They said, tell me why your left arm doesn't age quicker than your right arm, or vice versa. If you're right-handed and you're using it all the time,
shouldn't it go out sooner?
Shouldn't it go out? But they said no, because there's something within inside the biological wiring of humans that has intrigued us. And they called it this. They called it the internal time clock that causes your body to age all at the same time. So you don't have a 10-year-old leg and a 50-year-old arm. You are biologically aging systemically through the whole. They said all we have to do is tap in and find the place that your brain ages you.
Wow.
And they already know how to get there. And they're going to turn that off to
it's like winding back miles on a car.
Yes, that's what they said. Well, they didn't use that, but that's what they were thinking. That we will be able to tell the brain to cut that off so that you don't age by that clock. And without even blinking an eye, said in the next 10 years, we will be able to double lifespans. We will be living to be 120, 130 without even thinking.
Wow.
Then this.
Hey, for the record, with no purpose, because
Yes.
you don't have a job because
And
AI runs the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good luck.
Yeah. Well, guess what Elon said? And they said, well, how far do you think?
And to all the preppers, you're going to have to prep for a real long time.
They asked Elon, they said, how far do you think you can go?
Yeah.
Like age-wise. And his exact words, I'll say exact, but I'll paraphrase. He said, the worst curse you can put on a human is to live forever.
Yeah.
Is that not crazy? The very thing Jesus offers us,
Yeah.
the very thing AI is trying to do is extend my life, give me a better life.
And the guy creating it says the
integrate me.
worst thing possible.
And one of the guys that he's not creating, but he's in it. He said he decided to get in because he was warning everybody.
Makes you wonder what he knows.
They wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
And so he said in this podcast, he said, instead of just getting out, I'd have decided to get in and try to make it better, right? Make it where it's not going to kill us, because they said there's three options. Number one, it is total annihilation of humans.
Yep.
World War III, 4, 5, 6, Number two, it's Star Trek or it's Elysium. So they gave us those Mad Max, so we'll use that. It's either going to be Mad Max, Star Trek, or Elysium. Those are your options of what AI is going to do. Totally annihilate us. We won't even exist. Or make a better world where, it creates trillionaires that have all the money, and then Elysium, these little people, humans that kind of work for the system. Or Star Trek, meaning that we've received knowledge so far that we're able to go explore other worlds and galaxies and that.
I'm so stuck on the richest man in the world doing incredible things. And we're not going to go too crazy down this rabbit hole. It'll be another episode. But like, for him to come out and say the worst thing possible is not to die.
Well, think this through. I'm not saying he's Antichrist. I have his car and I like it.
But is he Nephilim?
Well, I don't know that either. That's been debatable, because he did make a joke in a podcast.
Because could a guy that's not allowed to die be sitting there thinking the worst thing ever is?
Well, he did make a podcast. It was a joke. Well, he laughed because he laughed. He said, well, do you think AI is God? And he said, I'm God. Just in a joke. Everybody laughed. I laughed. I thought, how funny. But
the devil likes to tell the truth.
Yeah. I will say this. I think it's interesting, but what I would not tell anybody listening that what I'm saying is absolute truth. It's an opinion. If you can get out of this world and see it from a spiritual realm.
Think about it differently. That's the goal of the conversation.
Look at it from a spiritual realm, that there are two beings that are going to claim to be God.
Yep.
And each being is doing miraculous, impossible things with humans. Healings, deliverances, fixing. Each team works with a unified language of species and a nation, and both are trying to be God. God's nation is the church with a unified language of spirit. Lucifer's nation are the nations of the world unified by AI. That's their language. And the team that has the most unity wins. And so Lucifer's going to trump God with his team. God's going to come and remove his team and go, I'm just going to step in and show you why I'm God. Mm. And then once I'm God, another podcast, I'm going to bring my team back, and my team's going to rule and reign.
So parting thoughts and maybe something to think about if you're listening to this podcast. And this is going to be a challenge for me. That's why I'm kind of pausing and swallowing. I'm swallowing to say I'm giving this medicine to myself too. What are you stuck on yourself about that you think, hey, this is all about me? This like how can these conversations allow you to expand your mind to say, all these things I'm worried about, all these things I think I'm chasing or going after, they really pale in comparison to the bigger game being played that we can't see.
Can I answer? Oh, they give me a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll try 1 minute.
Go for it.
I had a rough year. You know that, right?
Yep.
And in that,
a lot of challenges.
In that rough year, I'm like, what's the point? You know, I mean, I knew there was, but it's like, it just feels futile sometime for Jesus. And in my prayer time, the same question you just asked, and it came in my heart, is that, Mark, you must live for the greater purpose. And the greater purpose is not you. You're living a legacy of a message of 2,000 years. So what started coming to me is, if I'm not careful, I'm going to make Christianity about me and my little world.
I love me some Al.
And so, Mark, you're part of a 2,000-year history, and that 2,000-year history is called Christianity. It's the message of Jesus and the language of the Spirit. You can either get your feelings hurt and tap out, you can quit, or you can live for a greater purpose. Mark, the greater purpose is not your feelings. It's not friendships. Your greater purpose is the message of Jesus bringing eternal life. And that message is 2,000 years of people dying, being beheaded, crucified, boiled, burned alive. Live for the greater picture. That's what I think everybody listening to this needs to do. Get over yourself. Live for the legacy of Christ and his message. Quit getting your feelings hurt. And we're the watchers on the wall. We're either going to tap out or we're going to keep the message going, and I want to keep the message going.
There you have it. Cool. Well, next week we'll pick up maybe with the millennial reign.
Sounds good.
I thought that's where we're going today, but I really enjoyed the conversation that it turned into. So thank you for your opinion.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for your thoughts and helping me think about the world in a more expansive way instead of just Keaton's world. So thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.